In 2005, Hurricane Katrina devastated the Gulf Coast, leaving hundreds of thousands of people in desperate need of emergency aid. The sheer scale of the crisis overwhelmed existing disaster response systems. To process the massive volume of victims seeking relief, the American Red Cross brought in an external staffing company to hire and train temporary workers for a massive call center. But soon, a federal investigation uncovered a glaring problem. Call center employees were writing emergency relief money orders to fake hurricane victims and cashing those exact orders themselves at banks right down the street from the facility. This brazen fraud in the middle of a national relief effort highlights a critical management failure, a complete breakdown in organizational control. Organizational control is the systematic process of regulating daily activities to make them consistent with expectations established in plans, targets, and performance standards. Without this mechanism, a company flies blind. It has no way to verify if its goals are actually being met, leaving resources and the ultimate mission vulnerable to chaos and human error. To prevent operational disaster, management relies on a strict four-step playbook known as the control process. Step 1 is establishing standards. Control is impossible unless goals are expressed in precise, measurable terms. If a local Katu restaurant wants to improve quality, they need a specific identifiable indicator, like reducing the order reject rate from 15% down to 3%. Step 2 involves measuring performance as a constant, ongoing process, using valid indicators like sales costs or units produced. Many communities use GPS tracking on government-issued vehicles to monitor routes in real time. This ongoing measurement helps identify waste and reduce the abuse of public resources immediately. Establishing targets and measuring outcomes forms the required baseline. Management can only adjust or correct operations once they have been accurately quantified. Step 3 takes that measured data and compares it directly against the established standards to locate specific deviations. If a salesperson has a goal to increase calls by 10%, but only achieves 6%, management must isolate exactly why that 4% gap exists. They need to interpret if the failure was due to market closures, increased competition, or a need for more training. That diagnosis leads to step 4, taking corrective action. Managers may use formal authority to redesign a process, encourage harder work, or fire an employee to bring operations back into fulfillment with the standard. Alternatively, a participatory approach involves collaborating with employees to find solutions. Toyota famously uses a problems-first philosophy, where factory managers present errors to the group to trigger collaborative problem-solving sessions. Corrective action exists to realign the organization's daily operations back to its true north. Large corporations formalize these 4 basic steps into rigid, enterprise-wide systems to manage resources at scale. Budgetary control is a common method. In a top-down structure, executives set targets based on overall revenues, dictating goals to lower-level teams. In contrast, bottom-up budgeting allows managers to assess resource needs and pass requirements upward. Companies also layer on financial controls. By reviewing balance sheets, income statements, and conducting audits, they regulate the company's capital funds and physical assets. These systems are entirely backward-looking. They account for resources after they've been spent, often missing the early warning signs of operational trouble. In the modern economy, a firm's survival depends heavily on intangible factors that a traditional balance sheet cannot measure, like evaluating customer loyalty, maximizing work process efficiency, and prioritizing employee growth. To solve this, Robert Kaplan and David Norton developed the Balance Scorecard. This approach provides a holistic view of performance by looking at 4 distinct areas: financial, customer, internal processes, and the learning and growth of employees. Looking back at the Katrina call center disaster, monitoring the internal processes pillar could have flagged the theft before budgets ran dry. Organizational control serves as a multidimensional compass, ensuring the entire organization stays aligned and arrives safely at its destination.